the Grouchy Nerd.
Alright, you antisocial weirdos, it's time to learn a game that can play at the ideal player count. 1. Cascadia, designed by Randy Flynn and published by AEG and Flatout Games, is a tile drafting, pattern-making tableau building game which sees you as, God, building the diverse ecosystem found in and around the Pacific Northwest of North America. The game is played over exactly 20 rounds, and your goal in Cascadia is to score as many points as you can, though there is a robust achievement system found in the back of the rulebook. Robust. Plus, if you're weighing the choice between playing Cascadia and hiking Cascadia, no ticks in the game. Real place? So many ticks. You wouldn't even believe how many ticks. Place all the wildlife tokens in the bag. There are 20 each: bears, elk, salmon, hawks, and foxes. You'll need 43 of these habitat tiles chosen at random. The rest, which should be 42, can stay in the box. Arrange the chosen tiles in stacks and set them nearby. And 43 doesn't evenly divide into anything, so stop trying. Most tiles have 2 habitat types on them, though some, called keystone tiles, only have 1. These tiles are also marked with a pine cone, which we'll talk about later. There are 5 habitat types: mountain, forest, prairie, wetland, and river. Each tile also indicates 1 to 3 animal types, which may be placed thereupon. Select 1 wildlife scoring card for each animal. Each animal type has 4 scoring cards, A, B, C, and D, which get increasingly complex. For your first game, use all A cards. As you get more comfortable with the game, these can be chosen at random, or you can use the scenario section of the achievements for specific card combinations. These wildlife scoring cards show how each animal type will be scored at the end of the game. So for instance, this means you'll get an increasing number of points for the number of pairs of bears that are in your final environment. Having just 1 pair will get you just 4 points, but 3 pairs gets you 19. Anything over 4, though, plateaus at 27. Note that adding a 3rd bear, while progressive, is no longer a pair, it's now a bear thruple, I guess, and won't score any points with this card. Not to judge. Elk score by being in a straight line, depending on how many elk are in that line. And in a straight line means that their tiles are connected at opposite sides of the hex. Each line of elk will score even if it's just a line of 1, but again, there is a limit. Doesn't matter if you have a line of 5 or 6, that will still only score 13 points, same as if it only had 4. Salmon works similarly. You'll get points for each run of salmon up to 7, though this time they don't have to be in a straight line. The run can connect any way it needs to, but each salmon in the run may only connect to another salmon on 2 of its edges. Placing a salmon here would render all 3 of these salmon non-scoring because they're each touching another salmon on 3 edges. However, you could have a run of 3 in a triangle formation so long as they're not connected to any other salmon. Hawks want to be spread out. You'll get points for the number of hawks in your environment that are not adjacent to another hawk. And each fox will score based on how many unique animal types it's adjacent to, including another fox. And don't worry, we're going to look at scoring again at the end when this will all make a lot more sense. Well, more sense. Well, I hope. Take 1 starter habitat tile, which are basically 3 habitat tiles fused together, 2 regular and 1 keystone, and place it in front of you. The other 4 go back in the box. Draw 4 habitat tiles and arrange them in a line so that the stacks are to one side of the line. Then, one at a time, draw a wildlife token and place it below each habitat tile. Last, set some nature tokens nearby. But you're the only one using them, so you're probably not going to need all of them. Each turn plays thusly. First, check for overpopulation. If all 4 wildlife tokens are the same, they're automatically replaced. Set all 4 to the side, then draw 4 new ones, one at a time. Note that while unlikely, if the 4 new ones were also all the same, set them aside as well, and continue to do so until you have at least 2 different animal types. Then place all the replaced tokens back in the bag. If there are ever 3 of the same animal type, you may choose to treat them as overpopulated, replacing just the 3 like tokens. Again, if this causes a new overpopulation, continue to replace tokens until there are at least 2 animal types. Then select 1 habitat tile and take its paired wildlife token and immediately add both to your environment, starting with the habitat tile. Each new piece must share an edge with a piece you already have, and a habitat tile can never cover another tile. And you're not required to match terrain types, but you should try to when you can. Areas of the same habitat type are called corridors. You'll get 1 point for each tile in the largest corridor of each habitat type at the end of the game. And again, we'll go over scoring in a bit. Then place your wildlife token onto any habitat tile that does not already contain a wildlife token and which depicts that wildlife type. If you place your wildlife token on a keystone tile, also take a nature token. More on that in a moment. If you cannot legally place the wildlife token, discard it, then make a womp womp sound. Now the game takes its turn, but there's no punishing or hard to manage AI here. You'll just discard the tile and token farthest from the stacks and remove them from the game. Then slide the remaining 2 tiles and tokens away from the stacks. Refill the row with 2 new tiles from the stacks, and one at a time give each new tile a wildlife token. Then start a new round. Remember to first check for overpopulation, then choose another tile and token, but this time let's take a look at that nature token. Nature tokens can be used in one of 2 ways. First, rather than take a paired set of tile and token, you can spend a nature token, placing it back in the supply, to take any one tile and any one token. And remember, when it's time for the non-AI's non-turn, you'll take the tile and token farthest away from the stacks, even if they're not a pair. Then slide the remaining tiles and tokens to make room for 2 new ones. And second, you may spend a nature token to wipe away any number of wildlife tokens from the center. Follow all steps as though this had been an overpopulation. Play continues in this way until you've placed your 20th habitat tile and hopefully 20th wildlife token. Move immediately to end game scoring. First, score each wildlife scoring card. 2 pairs of bears gets us 11 points. A line of 2 elk is 5 points, and a line of 3 is 9 points, so there's 14. We're only scoring 1 run of salmon, but it was a good one, 20 points. 2 hawks, none adjacent to another hawk, so they score 5. And last, we got 3 foxes. This one is adjacent to 4 other animal types, so it scores 4 points. And each of these are adjacent to 3, so only 3 points for a total of 10. Then count and score the number of tiles that make up your largest corridor or contiguous group of each of the 5 habitat types. So if we have mountains here and here, we get 1 point for each tile in this group of mountains because it's the largest group. And for each corridor that contains 7 or more tiles, take an additional 2 bonus points. Last, score 1 point for each unused nature token. Total everything together for your score and see where you land on this slightly condescending score table. You're getting it? That's what you say to a child learning how to ride a bike. I'm a man. And that's how to play Cascadia in its most relaxing with a drink at the end of the day form. But if you want something that's a bit more brain-burny, again, the achievement system at the back of the book is going to keep you busy for a long time. Now take a hike, but do remember tick spray. Lyme disease is no joke. Now they shave your head. The Grouchy Nerd. Cascadia was what they settled on, by the way. The people of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho were united behind Cascadia, but the French Canadians were famously behind Cascadia. Cascadia was just sort of the happy medium, I guess.